Okay, guys. We'll go ahead and get started. Cleared off a whole big old space for this. Even got myself a... I don't even know if I need it, but, you know, I'll just use the paper later. It is Hunter Killer time. I had to... I was hoping to only open this when we started the stream, but I realized I needed to see what was inside to see how much space I needed, so I opened it already. I'll probably open it next time, because look, that did not... did not open very well. So... But let's go ahead. I haven't actually, like, looked at anything. I just pulled out a couple of things to see what all, like, space-wise was needed. And the biggest thing was this guy. That came with... If I can figure out how to... Would you open? So it came with a map. Which I assume we are going to need. So we'll go over everything in a little bit. I just wanted to... First of all, get everything out of the... Get everything... Okay. I'm actually going to put this aside until I need paper. Because I think there's paper in the little notebook they give me. If I need more, I'll pull it out. But let's go ahead and take everything out, and then we'll look at everything all together. Is this like a break? Is this a tooth? Hold on. It's like a little silver tooth on a bracelet. That's kind of cool. A little neat thing. Can I wear it? I kind of want to wear it. It fits my aesthetic. Wearing human body parts. Yeah, that's not how I wanted to tighten that. That's fine. Here we go. Fix it later. There we go. So, it is a tooth. It's a tooth, and I like it. Also just like dangly bracelets, so it works for me. So, oh, I want to show you guys the box it came in. So I have like, I both loved and hated this. So this is the box it came in, right? But it just came in this box. Like, it wasn't in another box, and this was the box inside of it. It was just this box, so you can actually tell where it's like creased and everything like that, because of course they didn't take good care of it when they were delivering it. So I think it had a couple other things. I just didn't put these out, but this is just like the standard stuff you get in these kind of boxes. So, like, if you need hints and recap. Oh, thank you. You the best. Thank you, GoBot. It came with a little pin. Untold. Hold on, let me see if you can see that really well. It says Untold Magazine. So I assume we're gonna learn about that. Oh, wonder if this pin. Ooh, got a little thing on it. Thing. You're the best with surprises. Okay. So let's just go over real quick what all is in here, and then we'll go through everything step by step, and we'll go. So this was the first thing I noticed, and of course I'll be reading all these out loud. So this is book. This book is property of Liam Kent. I have no idea who that is. And it had some. Okay. Hi. Thank you for sticking around. We should be back. Thank you all. Sorry for it. I had a wonderful blue screen of death that I will be tracking down later. But I did want to try. I don't think it's something it needs immediate attention. I'll do it after the stream, but I really did want to finish the stream, so. Hold on, I'm responding real quick to something. Okay. Alright. So let's get back to where we were. We were just going to start off by looking through all the documentation, see what everything is, and then start putting it together. I'm going to assume, because I keep seeing the name Kent like through all of these when you just glance at them, that we're solving some sort of mystery to do with a person named Kent. So we already know we got the map, we got this, and we'll read through this. I'm going to save this for last. Reading through this last. So I'm just going to go through the pile that we've got here, but let's look through it at first. Now this looks like it's a... When you look at it, it looks like it's just a little advertisement, but it's actually, like... You're still learning where the camera is. It's actually a, newspaper clipping. I know words. Sorry, I'm still a little from the blue screen thing. I'll get back into the swing of things here in just 1 second. Some sort of letter. Something from the sheriff's office. Here's the Untold magazine. Legends never die in the witch's woods. So, read over that. It's very small, thankfully. Let's see, an incident report at an academy. I'm going to assume that's just some sort of, like, probably middle school or high school. And then witness interviews concerning the disappearance of Liam Kent. There we go. That's probably our mystery, is finding out what happened to Liam Kent. So I'm going to start then. I'm going to assume the letter is the beginning part of this. So I'm going to start with this, and then we'll go through and just remember things as we are, because we only have, I assume in the first box there's only so much we can do anyway. So, and we'll go through, I'll go through the map too. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the map. I promise next one will be better, because I'll know a little bit more about how we want to do this. I'm still feeling out how we want to do the hunt a killer thing, but I'm still excited with showing it with you guys. So the map, just real quick. Let's see. Cut above barber shop is right here. Established 1845. Ooh. Even though it's changed names in recent years, the establishment is still run by its original founders, the Barker family. Come in anytime for a trim or a shave. They're the very last word in barbering. Andy's Cafe is right here. Established 1830. This is an old... Well, I mean, that's it. Yes, thank you for the will be learned curve. And I mean, we're all going to be taking notes, right? Well, you got to take notes when it comes to a mystery. That's the whole point. That's why they give us all of the blank pages in the notebook. So Andy's Cafe is what started as one of the town's only restaurant, remains one of its most endearing and eccentric establishments. And then Bob and Mike's convenience store, and that is right here. Even established 1951, even though Mike and Bob are retired, they still live right around the corner from the store, daring anyone to change its name. Say hi if you see them around. Did they own it together? You want to build this town in Minecraft? Okay, I'll get you a nice picture of it so that we can build it. It'll be part of our SMP. Also, Bob and Mike are husbands. Changed my mind. Burkettsville Cemetery, which is going to be back next to the church, of course. Established 1622. The oldest location in Burkittsville, even predating the church. What began as an impromptu burial site for victims of the various maladies and violences that befell townsfolk slowly became the official Burkettsville Cemetery. Burkittsville Community College. This small town has its own community college right here. Look at that. That's impressive. Established 1969 with a 98% graduation rate, a renowned arts program, and one of the area's best collections of 19th century regional maps and folklore. I'm sure that'll come in handy. Burkittsville CC is the place to go for mental enrichment. Go jackalopes. Ooh, they're jackalopes. That's the sort of thing, so we can go to space. You know, we could do that. I'll find a way to get this a nice picture for you. Burkittsville History Museum is right here. Oh, I love how small and quaint it is. Established 1921, an organization dedicated to chronicling and preserving the town's deep, complicated history, called to schedule a walking tour of the town today. And then Burkettsville Post Office is right here. Established 1925, rain or shine, hell or high water, the folks at the post office will always ensure that everything ends up exactly where it belongs. Burkittsville Sheriff's Office is right here, right next to the church. Established 1824. Originally the site of a makeshift prison and still home to numerous legal documents from throughout the centuries, the Burkittsville Sheriff's Office has long been a beacon of law and order for the town. Big Front Pharmacy is right here, right next to the post office. Established 1922. Always stocked with everything you might need, from medicine to snacks to home goods. Be sure to ask about the mini museum of historical snake oils and cure-alls dating back to the 17th century. This would be a perfect vacation for someone like me. Oh my god. Oh no. If my face appears on the stream, I'm fine. I am okay if I appear a little bit on the stream. Thank you for mentioning it. But I'm okay. I will eventually get back into showing you all my face again. I promise. I'll get there. Just give me some time. It might be just like maybe once a week or something. But we'll get there. We'll get back to where I can show my face again. Yes, baby steps. Most of it is getting over the fact that I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I'm keeping my long hair and I'm wearing makeup, and look at my nails. Actually, I need to get better nails. And these are like, I painted these and they turned out terribly because I still messed them up before they dried. So I'll just get nails. Where was I? Was that the pharmacy? Okay, so farm gas station. Right here. Established 1954. Fuel for your vehicle and fuel for yourself. The home away from home inn right here. There's established 1925. There's always room for those passing by. Who knows? Maybe you'll like it so much you'll never leave. And Main Street Grocer right here next to the cafe. That's a good place for it. 1980. Come on down for fresh, locally grown produce and locally farmed meat. This is like heaven for me. Alright, and here we are at the Mcqueen Auto Shop, established 1929, run for more than 50 years by the incorrigible Rickard Thunder Mcqueen. If you ever have the need to stop by, be sure to ask about his collection of century-old photographs of historical Burkittsville. Let's see, Melvin's Camping Supplies, because they would have a lot of campers around. That's over here at across the street from the church. Established 1979, you can never be too prepared to face Mother Nature. Be sure to ask about our wilderness survival courses. Patrick's Bar is right here, right next to the inn and the pharmacy. Established 1991, Burkittsville's youngest business, although it's still old enough to drink. That's a good pun. I like that. Proprietary Good Neighbor Library is right here, right next to the auto shop. Established 1723, originally the estate of the wealthy, childless, and notorious reclusive widow Proprietary Good Neighbor. This building was refurbished and reopened as the town's library after Good Neighbor's sudden death. Ooh, that's interesting. St. Diaz Church, established 1624. This was the first structure erected when Blair Township was initially founded. Siciliano's Bakery. Over here. Okay. Right next to the barber shop. I established 1925. Want to make a cake you saw on that TV show? We can handle that for you. Ooh, that's probably like the only Italians that came here. And the Silver Moon Diner, and that is... So there's two diners. Okay. Established 1939. Though times have changed, the Silver Moon aesthetic has a glistening time capsule place that still retains its vintage glow. Can you eat there? Because there's the cafe too. Okay. I mean, you should have multiple places, multiple restaurants. Something Borrowed. Right there. Okay. Established 1945. This antique and curio store features a bevy of items created decades and in some cases centuries before its doors ever opened. A perfect place to visit if you want to take home a bit of historical Blair for yourself. South Woodland Academy. Oh, it's this big thing right here. Established 1789, torn down and renovated multiple times throughout the town's history, this school sits on the foundation of the original Blair schoolhouse. So do they only have one? I wonder if they only have one. Oh, I would love my nails. There's a reason I don't like my nails. It's, they're, you know, when you paint them and then you accidentally rub them against stuff and they get crusty. That's what. Yes, I love my hair. Okay. Have a good getting your poke. Everybody should get their COVID poke they can. Okay, where were we? Variety Art Gallery. Right here. Established 1967, an exhibitor of art both historical and cutting edge. Varieties was not only the first gallery to exhibit work by renowned contemporary painter Dolores Dahl Davenport, but was also the first to exhibit some of the highly controversial outsider art and wooden sculptures found in the Black Hills Forest. Don't get me started on outsider art. The idea of outsider art is dumb, and just, I hate it so much, but I will save that rant for another day, because it has nothing to do with this. Violet Apothecary. Ooh, I love apothecaries. So I renamed my business that would have that word in it. And it is, where am I at? Right here. Established 1750, originally the site of the area's first general store, Violet Apothecary now sells a lovely array of scented soaps and candles alongside its traditional store of tinctures, salves, and other folk remedies, which are made according to recipes that the family of store proprietor Violet Carrette has preserved for generations. I would love to run a store like that. That is... yeah, it is a future rant. I assure you the outsider art thing will probably come up again, and it's something I feel very passionately about. But, I love the idea. That is my store right here. I wish I could own a store like that. Me and Cypress, if we could just own a shop, that would be great. That would be heaven for us. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to start with, I assume the letter is, like, the opening to all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and read the letter first. Hello. It's been weeks since I felt any sliver of hope, and frankly, I was starting to lose my mind a little before I found you. 4 months ago, my 15-year-old son, Liam, went missing. I'm not going to tell you that I've got a sixth sense or a gut feeling or a mother's intuition. I don't buy into all that. But I do believe he's out there and that he needs me. He needs us. Liam was always a sensitive kid, but he was devastated when his father passed away 4 years ago. He's been in a vulnerable place ever since. The sheriff told me that this sounds like a typical teenage runaway, but that can't be the case. I know Liam, and he cares too much about me and his younger brother Tristan to put us through this. He loves our dog Tank. He loves our home. It took the Burkettsville Sheriff's Office less than a month to write Liam off as a lost cause, and it took the rest of the town even less time to blame his disappearance on our ridiculous local superstition. Let me explain what I mean by that. This area is small and isolated, and the only thing that's ever made us worthy of any note is a long history of deaths and disappearances that stretch back to the 18th century town of Blair. So much genuine evil in the world, and people chose to believe in boogeymen. Since the people around here have decided that they're interested in fables over facts, I have to rely on you to get to the truth. I'm sending you a few documents from the official investigation into Liam's disappearance. Whatever help they may be, as well as a few things that may help you understand both Liam and this town a little better. I'm also sending everything I found laid out on Liam's desk the day he went missing. A magazine spread, his journal, and a pin that was placed inside of it. Additionally, I'll be passing on something that has made me fear the worst, despite myself. It's a bracelet that was given to Liam by his father. He never takes it off. Why did his father give him a bracelet with... Never mind. We've got a vague idea of Liam's movements on the day he went missing, but his trail goes cold in the early afternoon. Even when a few people saw him wandering through town, none of them knew exactly where he was going. I need you to find out where my son was going on the day of his disappearance. Finding that place is our best shot at discovering evidence that nobody else has looked over yet. As soon as you've figured it out, contact me at kintcase.com. It's a personal site I set up to keep tabs on Liam's case. Ooh, there's a password. Okay, hold on. I didn't know I was going to need this. I'm going to get that started, get it open. Okay, so the password is Burkittsville 8. You should see a link to my tip line. Just type the name of the place Liam was headed there. I'll be sure to respond as soon as possible. Eagerly anticipating your findings, Rosemary Kent. So I assume that's going to be what I have to do at the end of this. Is I have to figure out where he was going and put it in, and I think that's what's going to be like my big thing to know that I've done it right. Kentcase.com. I'm just getting it up. I will in a second. I won't really look. I'll show you all it in a second, though. Let's read through the other things first. That's what it sounds like. Our first goal is just to figure out where he was going. So, because I assume that's what he wants me to do, is finding the place is our best shot. As soon as you figured it out, contact me. It's a personal. Okay. Yeah, you see this linked to. I assume that's their way of saying this is what you need to do by the end of this box, is find out where he was going. That is our mission for this first one. Yeah, so we have an objective, which is great. That's what I was hoping we would do. Also, I want to know why his dad gave him a bracelet with a tooth on it. Like, of all the things, you know what I mean? Of all the things you would give your kid a bracelet with a tooth on it. That sounds like something I would give my kids. And we all know what that actually means. So, a little sus. Alright, so let's go through. I'm actually Now this wasn't on the desk, right? It was the magazine, so it was the diary. I'm just separating them out. And the journal. Those were the things that were actually on his desk. So we'll read these last. Very sus. Let's look at this guy. So again, this is a Silver Moon Diner. I don't think we really need to know this for right this second, but the Silver Moon Diner is right here. It's in between the school and the library. But again, I don't think it's relevant. I think it's just where it's on the back. But I'm keeping a note of it because I feel like why else? Either they did really good world building with putting that in there, or they wanted you to keep in mind at the Silver Moon Diner. So, this is from the Burkettsville Town Bugle. Burkittsville loses a friend, local killed in forest accident. By Audrey Bird, staff. Hudson William Kent, a carpenter and family man favorably known as HUD, died after an accidental tree fall Thursday. Kent was cutting timber in the Black Hills Forest with his 11-year-old son Liam when a tree began to fall at an unexpected angle, according to Rosemary Kent, his wife. His widow. Kent fell into the path of the collapsing tree as he pushed his son out of harm's way, according to Sheriff Lanning, who took Liam Kent's statement on the scene. This incident was as tragic as it was gruesome, Lanning said in a statement. We are heartbroken. The news of HUD's sudden and untimely passing has shaken us to our very foundation. Our love goes out to his wife and their young children, Liam and Tristan. Following in his father's footsteps, Kent became a logger and carpenter soon after graduating South Woodland Academy at the age of 18. Kent's craftsmanship can be admired in nearly every home and municipal structure in town. Kent was known among those close to him as a skilled craftsman with a razor-sharp wit and an abiding love for his family. He loved making me little pendants and bracelets and writing me notes just to remind me how much he cared, Rosemary Kent said in an interview. He'd been doing that ever since I asked him out in junior year of high school. A funeral service is scheduled for 1 p.m. Sunday at St. Diaz Church on Main Street. Father Calvin Hobart will officiate. Flowers, donations, and condolences may be offered to the Kent family at the Silver Moon Diner during a reception to be held immediately after the service. No viewing has been scheduled. So, this is just about his dad. So I don't know. I guess she thought it was relevant because of how she was saying that he did not handle the death well. So let's assume that. I'm going to assume that the little tooth is actually supposed to be wood. Because that makes more sense. This actually feels weighted. It doesn't feel like... It might actually be pewter. That's nice. Nice that it's not too cheap. I'm sure something about this will come up later. reception in Burger. I mean, that's what I would want. I want a party when I die. I don't even want a funeral. But I think it's good to note that the craftsmanship is going to be in every house. So he built stuff. He was a carpenter, so he was probably actually one of those legit, actually built like dressers, tables, shit like that. So he probably is in every house. Speaking of which, is this just like the main street? Yeah, this is just Main Street. So there's more town, I assume, like over off you this way. It's just where it's closed in that I find very interesting. Also, is that a Catholic church? Because isn't that weird for that to be a Catholic church? Yeah. I mean, the wood, it's probably supposed to be a wooden tooth, but I can get where that would be a weird thing to send through the mail. It might have been cheaper, especially because wood's more expensive right now. It might have just been cheaper to make it like this. That's fine. It's still interesting. Burkettsville Sheriff's Office. At 2:30 p.m. on Tuesday, Sheriff Wes Lanning addressed the township regarding the case of a missing local teenager. The full transcript is provided below. Sheriff Lanning. Good afternoon, everyone. As you all know, a 15-year-old boy named Liam Kent was reported missing by his mother 3 days ago. At this time, we are unable to confirm his last known whereabouts, but we have no reason to assume a crime has been committed. Press. This is Audrey Bird with the Burkittsville Town Bugle. Sheriff Lanning, what do you say to the rumors that, please, if there is time, I will take questions at the end of my statement. Search parties to locate Liam Kent have been mobilized, and we have already recovered one of the boy's personal effects, which was found by a civilian on the northern sidewalk of Main Street. We're taking that as a very positive sign. If you have any information that would be of interest to our investigation, please come forward. I must urge you, however, not to use this opportunity to contribute to the spread of dangerous rumors and hearsay. I will now take questions, Miss Bird. Some people are wondering if this case is being considered in relation to many of the previous disappearances that have historically been attributed to. You're correct in pointing out that Burkittsville, as a community, has endured its fair share of incidents like this, and so I say this with full knowledge of what many of you must be thinking, even if you have the good sense not to say it out loud. It is of the utmost importance that we keep ourselves calm, collected, and above all logical. I will not entertain any suggestions involving outdated superstitions, especially not when the case in front of us appears to be perfectly cut and dry already. Do not contact my office to provide details that might distract from the matter at hand. If we are able to keep our heads level, I'm confident that we will be able to locate Liam Kent and return home. Thank you. Sheriff, if I may, the former Sheriff Lanning, that is to say your uncle, apologies, I'm not quite sure how to phrase this. The former Sheriff Lanning led several high-profile searches in the 90s. How similar do you think that the search of Liam Kent will be to that investigation, considering that? Thank you. That's all the time I have. Please address my office with any further questions. So, they're mailed to you. You have to go to the website. This is specifically the Blair Witch one. And they have different ones. They have like just regular murder mysteries. I just liked this one because it was more horror themed. So, and I'm just more into horror because they have like regular and horror. They actually have them separated. They have a lot of past ones, and if I end up liking these, I might buy some of the old box sets that they sell and go through them. But this is the very first box of the Blair Witch. We're just starting this out today, but. Yeah, definitely. It's really easy to find a coupon. If you actually like sign up for their website, what happened for me was I signed up for the website and I was still thinking it over for like a week, and a week later they sent me a coupon for like $10 off, and I was like, well, now I have to try it. So that worked out. You can buy like 1 box a month or 3-month subscription, or just buy the whole thing outright. I'm just doing 1 for right now because I wanted to make sure I would like it, and then I might do the 3 months at a time. But it's like $300 for the whole season, so I just didn't have that off the top. But northern sidewalk of Main Street. I wanted to mark that down for myself. Oh, you better work, pen. Don't give me a pen if it don't work. Piece of paper so I don't mark. Thank you for joining, by the way. Sorry. Ooh, does this pen not work at all? That's gonna make me angry. Don't give me a pin if it don't work. I don't like that. Rumbly now. Okay. I'm gonna yeet that pin. And God, don't worry, I brought another pin just in case that happened. But northern sidewalk of Main Street is what I wanted to mark for myself. Because it mentioned one of the boys' personal effects, but it didn't say what. And I'm curious what that personal effect was. And of course they mentioned the Blair Witch. Now when they were talking about the uncle in the 90s, I'd have to rewatch the movie to see if they actually had the uncle in there. It's been a hot minute since I've rewatched it. Yeah, we can rewatch it later in the server. But I assume that they're talking about the movie when they talk about the 90s, because even though the movie came out in 99, it supposedly took place in like 97. That is not one I will, unless you're okay with it, Abs, I probably won't watch that before you go to bed. Okay, incident report, South Woodland Academy, Main Street, Burkettsville, Maryland. Okay, so I gotta say something about writing off. I know the runaway thing happens more than just too often, where they're just like, it's just a teenager, they run away. Yeah, that's what I thought. We'll watch it sometime when it's like more early afternoon, morning for us. I actually have a story about the first time I watched Blair Witch. I'll tell you about it later at the end of all this. But the runaway thing always just drives me crazy, because you should just assume, even if the teenager is a runaway, you should find them. Even if they have a reason for running away or something, you should find them. They're a child, for one. They don't know what they're doing. Or even if they are running from an abusive situation, you should find them, figure out what's going on, and protect them from there. Because, like, the backpack killer from the late 80s, 90s in Australia, the reason he got away with so much stuff is because he was killing teenagers and young adults. So everybody was just like, oh, they just disappeared. They're just having fun. And it's just like, find them. Find them and prove that's the case. There is nothing wrong with doing that. It's just so weird to me that you wouldn't. It's like, it's your job. It's your fucking job. Not gonna. ACAB. Anyway, incident report, South Woodland Academy, Main Street, Burkittsville. We know where that is. That's that guy right there. Name Leon Kent. Case code 9991417. Evaluator Adrian Tan. Title counselor. Earlier today, Liam entered into a physical altercation with another student in his grade in the hallway outside of my office. This incident occurred during the interval between second and third periods at approximately 11:10 a.m. While I did not witness the beginning of this altercation, I did witness the aftermath of a punch Liam threw, which knocked his classmate to the ground. After I broke up the fight and asked the teacher to escort the other student to the nurse's office, I took Liam into my office to discuss what had just occurred. To quote Liam, I don't know why I hit him. He was just standing there, looking at his phone, and he started laughing at something. Before I even knew what I was doing, my arm just moved on its own. I pushed him, then he pushed me back, so I hit him, and he fell. He looked like such an idiot with his blood coming out of his nose. And you came in and stopped me whatever I was going to do next, and now we're here. Okay. That actually reminds me of something I did in middle school. Additional comments. Per Liam's behavioral records, he has been actively alienating himself from children his age, whom he used to consider friends since his father died, and he has not made much of an effort to foster new friendships. Liam prefers to spend his free time alone, staring off in the direction of the tree line or drawing. Liam, while quite a talented artist, has been fixated on his father's death in his personal drawings. The few pieces of his art I have observed have contained various versions of the same scenario, an unidentified person who I can only assume to be Hudson underneath a large tree. When Liam is present at school, he displays a markedly maladjusted attitude. On the occasions he does turn his work in, it is sloppy and half-completed, often devolving into doodles and drawings. Liam struggles socially, limiting his interactions with the other students to the bare minimum of what is required for group activities. Even when he does engage, he struggles to interact on both micro and macro levels, whether it be to completion of a large-scale task or simply listening to instructions. On the rare occasions I have been able to get Liam to open up, he has confessed a bit more about his personal coping strategies, namely that being around Hudson's work makes him feel close to his father. He tells me that he often spends his time outside of school in a building originally built in the 20s. Originally built in the 20s. I think that's going to come relevant. Which his father renovated shortly before his death, although he will not disclose the specific location of this place. However, I feel as though this closeness has done little to improve Liam's mental state. All of his problematic behaviors have significantly increased in frequency and severity in recent weeks. Liam's actions have become increasingly worrisome both inside and outside of social contexts. While this is the first time that Liam has acted violently toward another student, his lack of apparent guilt makes me worry that it will not be the last. Plan of action. I will be increasing the frequency of my and Liam's one-on-one meetings from bi-monthly to weekly. We will also be in more frequent communication with Liam's mother regarding her son's progress. Additionally, I've provided Liam with a journal and asked him to try to write out his feelings in a concrete way, rather than revisiting the moment of his father's death. I suggest that he try to frame these entries as letters to Hudson himself, although Liam reacted to the statement with extreme negativity. I will be filing copies of this and all future reports with the principal's office in order to best monitor the situation. Very grr moment. I wonder how much of his mom was being involved with this. You know what I mean? It sounds like the counselor was actually trying, you know, and as a counselor, especially of a school, you can only do so much, but it's hard, you know? It's hard you gotta pay attention to all students, and clearly he needed to be in therapy, though. Like, clearly something was going on. Oh, what the? Hold on. This pin is a UV light. I just thought this clicker on the side was for that. Oh, I'm sure that's gonna come in. I'll have to probably close my blinds in a second, but that's neat. Let's go through some other things first. And we'll look on. Well, hey, Cal, how's it going? Hi. It's gonna be scanning all the things, like, just like this. They'll probably have to turn off the light. I assume it's gonna be something in the diary, honestly. Good, I'm glad it's good. You come to join us for well, it's not a murder investigation, it's a missing persons investigation. For now. Give it a moment. Okay, let's see. So this is from the Sheriff's Office. Witness interviews concerning the disappearance of Liam Kent. All interviews conducted and transcribed from audio by Sheriff Wes Lanning, Burkettsville Sheriff's Office. Interviewee, Rosemary Kent. Time and location of interview, Sunday, 8 a.m. I wish we had, like... Is the pin invisible? You know what? Hold on. Let's, I'm gonna try it on a piece of paper. Where's the paper I was writing on earlier? Wait a second. Hold on. I gotta let me do somewhere darker. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Holy shit, that's why the pin doesn't work. I've never had a pin like that. Holy fuck, that's why the pin doesn't work. That's neat. Oh, I'm so excited now. Now I'm not as angry about the pin. Okay, let's see. I wish they had, like, at least it is a good pin. It is a neat... I will, when we get to the part where we're looking at the UV, I'll close the blinds a little bit so maybe we can see a little bit more. But right now, I gotta... So, the screen looks somewhat good. I'm gonna keep it up for right this second. And then we'll look at stuff. So that's neat. It does, yep, it does work, just not the way I thought. That's so cool. I'm getting more and more excited about this. I have not, but I want to. I love Winsor and Newton. Ugh, I've got so many of their, like, watercolors. I'm gonna have to go out and look for them. Just need to sit down and talk about I need to do traditional art. If I can make this setup work more, like I know I need a twist. I need to get a better thing to put the camera on, and when I do, I will do some more traditional art, like here in this space, because I would love to do that. I would love to start getting art snacks again, and then just do like a day where I just draw with art snack. Oh god, that is yes. And I'm sure Ushi would love to know that she's being used like that, talking about art materials. Alright, I'm gonna read through, let's see. Okay. I'm gonna read through all of Mama Kent's real quick, and then I'll look back up after that. Okay. So, Sunday, 8 a.m., Kent household. Rosemary, I can't believe this is happening. I'm sorry. I know what I said. I know that I said I was ready, but how could anyone ever be ready to do something like this? We can try this again later if you'd like, Mrs. Kent. No, it's fine. I'm fine. Let's just get this over with. I went to work before Liam or Tristan woke up. Shelley called me real early, said she was sick, and asked if I could cover her morning shift. That's Shelley Frost. Thank you. Everyone at the Silver Moon is really good at that. I get the feeling they all call me before anyone else, you know, ever since But I remember I woke up, left a note, and went to work. What was on the note? Just telling the boys that I went to work. When I'd be back, they heat up some leftovers for dinner. I always put it on a sticky note right in the middle of the television. That way I know they'll see it. Tell me what happened next. I saw Liam in the afternoon. I don't remember exactly when. It was during the lunch rush, which is usually between 12:30 and 2. I asked him where Tristan was, and he said home. Hank, our line cook, told me I was being paranoid, that Tristan was getting old enough to be on his own. Hank's kind of old-fashioned, a rub some dirt in it kind of guy. Either way, he made up 2 sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly for Tristan and tuna for Liam. Liam took them home for Tristan for lunch, or I guess I thought he did. When I got home a little after 9, he wasn't there. All Tristan had eaten all day was a bowl of cereal and an orange. I looked everywhere for Liam, but I couldn't find him anywhere. I looked everywhere in the house, all over town, and then I had to call you. I couldn't think of what else to do. Do you happen to remember what Liam was wearing when you saw him at the Silver Moon? Let me think. He was in a black shirt, for sure. Most of his clothes are black, and a large denim jacket, and a beanie. I remember he was carrying his backpack, which was a little strange, because it wasn't a school day. I still can't really believe that any of this is happening. I feel numb all over. You'll find him, won't you, Wes? I'll do everything in my power to you, Rosemary. Okay, yeah, that's what... Okay, let's look at the time. So, she went early in the morning before they woke up. What matters here, and she works at the Silver Moon, which I guess is why we needed to know. So, the Silver Moon is the one that's right here next to the school. And heat up leftovers in the which is between... So, she saw him between 12:30 and 2. And it doesn't sound like he made it home. So it would be sometime after that. And then, did she say when she got home? A little after 9. Okay, so she got home a little after 9. So he would have disappeared anytime between 2 and 9. That's a pretty big gap. And when we're done with this, we'll look for what building would have been made in the 1920s. Because a couple of them talked about renovations too. So let's see. Interviewee Tristan Kent, also present, is the interviewee's mother, Rosemary Kent, as he is a minor. Time and location of interview, Sunday, 8:30 a.m., Kent household. So I'm just assume this is a little further in the day. Okay, so, okay, Tristan, just take your time and tell me everything you remember about the last day you saw your brother. Tell me about the whole day, even if you think something may not be important. You never know what can be useful. And yesterday, Liam got up later than he normally does. I'm usually up before him, and Mom tells me I always have to be quiet because Liam's sleeping, so I usually take Tank, that's our dog, and play outside. But yesterday, Mom had to go to work early. She left us a note like she always does when she leaves, so... What is it, Tristan? So, I did something, but I know I'm going to get in trouble for it. There's nothing you can get in trouble for, sweetheart. Just tell Sheriff Lanning everything you know. Alright, well, since nobody was there, I watched a Supernatural marathon on TV. Oh, Jesus, Tristan, that's okay, honey. My mom says it's a scary show because it's about ghosts and monsters. I'm not supposed to watch it, but I think the guys that host it are funny. Okay. So, okay. Does that say super neutral? A super neutral marathon. I need you to know that's how that word is spelled in case you cannot see it very well on the screen. It is Neutral. It's just, so it's not supernatural, it's super neutral. I don't know if they were just trying to make fun of supernatural, or if they were saying it's a different show. But I think that's funny how they spelled it. I watched it really quiet so I wouldn't wake Liam up. After an episode was over, I asked Liam if he wanted to do something, and he was like, "No way, skunk." That's what he calls me sometimes, a skunk. He thinks I don't like it, which is why he does it, but I do like it. What happened next, Tristan? So he said, "No way, skunk," and said he was going to do some stuff. He likes to be alone a lot, but I knew he was going to bring back lunch, which is what he usually does when he goes on long walks like that. So I watched some more Supernatural and waited for him to come back. But he didn't come home after that. I had an orange for lunch. Where do you think he went? So... okay. Really, that's more of what's going on with him in that one. Because it doesn't give us any more times other than he's, like, sleeping more. And I think we'll just need to know that more for, sounds like he's just depressed. I mean, he just sounds like a depressed kid. And it sucks. I wish he was getting more help. Let's see. Interviewee, Father Calvin Halbert. Time and location of interview, Sunday, 12:30 p.m., St. DMS Church. Go ahead, Father. Yes, I do remember seeing Liam on that day. I was out back behind the church tending to the cemetery, which I typically do every Saturday around 3:30. Ooh. 3:30. And so he was back behind the church. So that's over here. Sometimes some of the kids from the high school hang out back there. They always leave cigarette butts and beer bottles, which obviously I'm not happy about, but I'd rather them be hooligans in the cemetery than go out and drive somewhere and potentially hurt themselves or someone. You know, good on you for that. Go on. So I saw Liam while I was cleaning up all that trash. He left some of his own, you know. The crust of a peanut butter sandwich, very wasteful. Regardless, Liam was out past the graveyard, standing just on the edge of the woods and looking in. I don't know how long he was out there before I saw him, but he stood like that for a moment before seeming to lose interest, and then he moved along and walked away down Main Street. But the whole time he was looking over his shoulder. Not at me, mind you, but at the forest. Okay, so him, the crust of the peanut butter sandwich I think matters, so he was probably saving... Deep hurting. It does, doesn't it? 3:30. I didn't realize I cut off my sentence. 3:30. So it was back behind the church at 3:30, and he was looking out into the forest. But when he was done, and he only ate the one sandwich. He only ate the peanut butter. So I'm thinking that he was keeping the tuna because knew he was going to be out for a little bit longer. So he probably came back out, and it says he went down Main Street. So now our time frame for him going lost is after 3:30. So anywhere between 3:30 and 9 so far. Interviewee, Harriet Gillard. Time and location of interview, Sunday, 4 p.m., Burkettsville Sheriff's Office. Tell me exactly what you saw, Miss Gillard, in chronological order, please. Thank you for seeing me, Sheriff. Yes, I first saw Liam when I came into the Silver Moon. The Silver Moon is allowing you back in now? I'm not going to have to come back down there for another complaint, am I? That thing with the mustard was just a misunderstanding. Anyway, I saw Liam. He came inside, looked perturbed. Hank made him a couple of sandwiches after he talked to his mother, and then the kid left. Okay. Didn't give a time yet. Did Liam say anything to you when you saw him? We had a little conversation. He started, "Hello, Miss Gillard." I finished it off with, "Goodbye, Miss Gillard." And finished it off with, "Goodbye, Miss Gillard." Excuse me. Ah, something got caught in my throat. Hold on. Sorry about that. Thank you. Nothing really, and not for very long. I asked him how his day was going. He said not well, but that hopefully it would be better after he finished his research. I asked what kind of teacher assigned him homework over a beautiful weekend like this one, and he just said goodbye and walked away. He seemed a little high-strung. He kept fiddling with his bracelet so much I worried he'd tear it clean off his wrist. All right, Harriet, is that all?
No, actually, I saw him again a few hours later, just for a second. I was buying some stamps around 4. Okay, around 4. And I saw him walking on the other side of the street. He looked a bit grim, if you ask me. Oh, stamps does matter. He looks a bit grim, if you ask me. Hunched over, I must have assumed that he was walking home, but I suppose that wasn't the case after all, was it? Then, when I finished up and walked across the street to my car, I noticed something on the ground. It was the same bracelet I'd seen Liam wearing earlier. So that was the personal effect that they were talking about. It must have fallen off when I saw him walking. Did you take the bracelet, or did you leave it there? Oh, sorry, that was him. Did you take the bracelet, or did you leave it there? I took it. I meant to give it back to his mother the next time I saw her. It's right here. Thank you for your cooperation, Miss Gillard. Let's see. Interviewee, Clementine Lidwell. Time and location of interview. Monday, 9 a.m. Proprietary, Good Neighbor, Library. Okay, Mrs. Lidwell. Just tell me everything you remember about seeing Liam on that Saturday. There's no such thing as an unimportant detail. Yes, sir. We were actually quite crowded that day, but I still remember seeing him because I made him finish his tuna sandwich before he came inside. So there he is finishing the tuna sandwich. Fish in a library. Can you imagine? And of course, because of the altercation he got into. Liam came into the library like he often does, very quiet, never needs help with even in finding the most obscure reference material. It was right after his story hour ended, so it must have been around 4 o'clock, so we're going back to the 4 o'clock here. Liam read for a little while on his own, and then another boy came in. I'm not quite sure of his name. One of the kids who only ever comes in to find the books for their summer reading, you know? But always a month too late. No, I don't have any more copies of the Scarlet Letter. Every other kid in town has already a copy out or on hold. It's been a while since I've done a book report, Mrs. Lidwell. Of course. Anyway, Liam and this boy, they had an altercation and Liam left. Tell me about this altercation. I couldn't hear the words exactly, but I think that Liam instigated it. The other boy looked like he was asking Liam something benign. Liam snapped back at him, which caused the other boy to raise his voice. I think he called Liam a freak or something like that. Within seconds, their fight escalated to shouting, and Liam threw his book at the other boy. It was a compilation of topographical surveys of the area, which is quite bulky. Did you know that every major survey of this area has yielded vastly different results from one another? No two people can quite agree on the accurate map, although there are certainly those that experts consider to be closer to reality than others. It's quite a fascinating little mystery. Very interesting, Mrs. Ludwell, but not relevant to this investigation. Of course, right. After that, I reprimanded them both. We did what we usually do when children misbehave in the library, have them leave for the rest of the day. Cool their jets, you know, and come back tomorrow. The other boy refused at first, probably out of stubbornness. You know how kids are. Liam, though, left peacefully. He was so angry seconds later, but he was suddenly so calm. Seconds earlier, but he was suddenly so calm. I don't know where he went, but I think I remember him turning left and walking down the street that way. All right. You've been very helpful. Thank you for your time. Sheriff, I know that it's a little uncouth, but I simply have to ask. Everyone in my book club will be furious with me if I don't. Have you been looking in the forest? With everything that's happened in the past, don't you think that something unnatural may have happened to the boy? To answer the first part of your question, we are mounting search parties of the immediate area, as is typical for any investigation of this sort. I won't entertain the second part. With all due respect, almost everyone who lives here has said something to happen to them in the forest that there's no earthly explanation for. Once, when I was walking around the very edge of the forest, I could swear that I saw a tall figure watching me. I got so scared that I tripped and fell down a hill. It nearly broke my neck and killed me. Have a good day now, Mrs. Ludwell.
So, I liked the spooky forest. Well, to be fair, it is the Blair Witch forest. But that tracks with everything we know about the Blair Witch. Where it has the moving spaces inside the forest where it's never the same twice. Like, that's always been a staple. Because if you remember, they tried following the map and they never could. So they're just confirming that is still real for us in this universe, this timeline. So I'm going to take it that he came. Which one? This is the library. So he came because this is the post office right here. So when the first person saw Miss Lindell, what was it? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I should have announced that. Yeah, this is Hunt a Killer, Blair Witch. So we're solving a mystery in the same town from the Blair Witch movie. So I assume it's like modern day with everything. Especially where they mention like the 90s and stuff like that. So yeah, sorry, but yeah, it's kind of neat, and I'm glad they confirmed that the woods are still doing that for us. So that I assume that will come back into play. And then so, what was her name? So Gillard. Okay, so I'm going to assume, because it was 3:30, I'm going to assume that he came out of here, kind of putzed around, went back here, ate his sandwich at some point behind the church, and looked out, and then came back down here, went to the library for about, probably not even 20 minutes, because they said it was around 4, right? Yeah, they both said it was around 4. So he was only here for probably about 20 minutes or so, 30 or 20 minutes, came out and went and started going back down this way. And she would have found the tooth somewhere around here. All right, last interview. Anthony Repino. Monday, 11 a.m., Burkettsville History Museum. Mr. Rapinoe, I know that you're a family friend of the Kents. Yes, I've known Liam and Tristan their whole lives, and their parents as well. I grew up with Rosemary and Hud. I was the best man at their wedding. Did you happen to see Liam at all that day? Yes, very briefly. He passed by the front door right before I ate lunch, meaning that it would be a So I'm going to assume the residential is like out here somewhere. Okay. So he would have come down here. This is where he saw him by. And then he would have come in here. And there's a missing 2 hours. Was there a disconnect? Because my bit rate's still showing. Oh, okay, thank God. Oh. Y'all trying to spur me. Please do not. It is easy to give me a heart attack right now. Wait, the reason we're so on edge, Cow, is I've had some random disconnects. He's trying to get revenge. But yeah, so I'm glad everything's still good. That's fine. Because, you know, the internet around here is weird anyway. Okay. So, let's go ahead and read the magazine, and then we'll start in with the, Twitches. Meh. Alright. Legends never die in the Witch's Wood. Untold tale. I wonder. Ooh, I wonder. Will I be able to see it with this much light? I don't think there's anything in here anyway. I think it's gonna be in here. I think it's gonna be in the diary. Let's see. Alright. Dossier of mysterious deaths and disappearance in the Black Hills Forest. Ed Barrett. It was in the winter of 1785, back when the sleepy Maryland town of Burkettsville was still known as Blair, when a group of local children first told their story. They claimed an old woman who lived at the forest's edge had beckoned them to follow her back to her cottage. Upon luring the children to her home, the woman pricked their fingers with a needle, collecting their blood in bowls made of stone. In the minds of the townsfolk of Blair, there was no clear sign of witchcraft. Some stories claim that the townsfolk merely ran the old woman out of Blair to live out the rest of her lonely days in the nearby Black Hills Forest. Other stories claim that the citizens of Blair went much further than mere banishment. The way my grandfather told me the story, the people of Blair pummeled her with rocks. Once their thirst for revenge was sated, some of the men dragged her out into the forest and left her there, tied to a tree. Let's see, Chelsea Traeger Brown, teacher at South Woodland Academy. Primary sources are few and far between, but some secondary literature indicates that the accused may have been hanged from one of the oldest trees in the Black Hills Forest, an old dead tree whose bark was white like ash. Anthony Repino, local historian. Nearly a year after the execution, during a winter far more bitter and cold than the one previous, the residents of Blair woke up to find half the town's children had vanished in the night. Among their number were all those whose parents' accusations had led to the supposed witch's death. But did she die? Can a legend ever truly die? While the story of the Blair Witch stretches back over 200 years, her legacy continued far past the moment of her supposed death and persists to this very day. The next high-profile sighting of the Blair Witch would occur in 1825 when witnesses claimed to have seen the pale hand of an old woman reach out of the water of a local creek to drag a helpless girl under the surface. The girl was presumed to have drowned, but her body was never recovered. Yet another child was reported missing in 1886. This victim was miraculously recovered from the Black Hills Forest by the second search party sent after her. However, the men who made up the child's first search party were not as fortunate. They were found tied together and stabbed to death on a large rock at the creek's edge. The identity of their killer was never discovered. The witch seemed to lie dormant for over 60 years after the incident at the rock. However, tragedy would eventually strike the area once more when an eccentric hermit who made his home in the Black Hills Forest confessed to the kidnapping of 8 children and the murder of 7, claiming that the voice of an old woman had urged him to commit these crimes. Was this man a cold-blooded killer, or could he have truly been compelled to kill by the Blair Witch herself? Then, in October of 1994, 3 student filmmakers disappeared in the woods near Burkittsville while shooting a documentary. While their footage was recovered, the students themselves remain missing to this day. Nearly 2 years after the students' disappearance, a young boy is believed to have been abducted and taken into the Black Hills Forest. His search party would not emerge unscathed, or without grim and mysterious stories of their own to tell. While many locals still insist on the existence of the witch, some believe that a dangerous drifter is responsible for the most recent of these cases. So that... the last interview was really not that relevant. It was the town historian, the guy who runs the history museum. Really, I think the most relevant thing there is it gave us the more definite time of when Liam was at the Silver Dollar, because he said he saw him around 1. That was that was really the most relevant thing out of that. So, and he's over here. So he would have, I still think all the residential is here because this is the main street. So he would have come down through here, gone through here, and then there's like about 2 hours missing somewhere in here.
And then he ended up here staring out in the forest, and that's where he had the one sandwich outside of the cemetery. And then he came down here, and he went, and he had to finish his sandwich before, so he ate them like pretty, either he probably ate the peanut butter and jelly like right after he left the silver dollar, and that was the crust that the father found. And then he had to finish the tuna before coming into the library. He was only there for like 20-30 minutes before getting kicked out. And then the last time it looks like he was seen was outside of the post office, and that's where she found that bracelet, which the mother said she found on his desk. So I'm a little confused there. But we'll check stuff in a minute. Also, that they were talking about the thing in 94 was the thing from the first movie. That particular case hits closer to home for me than most of the gruesome incidents that haunt this town's history, since I was in high school when it happened. An interesting fact, hikers often found strange carvings on many of the forest's older trees for months after the case was closed. However, sightings of those carvings eventually died down. Isn't that strange? Shouldn't carvings on tree trunks have been more permanent than that? That was from Anthony Repino. There's a lot of things from Anthony Repino, so that could be either he's trying to be honest about what's going on, or he just wants to talk. He wants people to hear him because he's in a little tiny town. Unfortunately, a lot of information about the search party has been lost to time. Many of them were workers at a nearby sawmill, which had many names over its long and troubled tenure in the region, but which has long since burned down, taking hundreds of invaluable records with it. I saw symbols clear as day on the trunk of a big white tree, smack dab in the middle of the forest. Looked like wide open eyes and screaming mouths all jumbled up together. When I tried to show the tree to my wife, I couldn't find my way back to it, even though I hadn't gone more than 10 feet away. I stopped going into the forest altogether pretty soon after that. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched by the carver. Elliot Coulson, lifelong Burkettsville resident and former hiking enthusiast. While uncertainty clouds the region's present and mystery haunts its past, one thing is and always has been certain. The Black Hills Forest is a region afflicted by the trauma of those who have vanished there, and perhaps by the creatures who took them as well. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Sorry, the paper's slightly different, so I can actually... Where to find out more? I guess the... Still my best bet. What does that say? Oh! Oh, I wonder if he's doing like a fucking... Hold on. Oh, shit. Okay. I think he's right. He's made himself a cipher. Let's see if I can, how best I can do this. Hold on. Y Z H V N V M G apostrophe H. And I'm gonna go ahead and write that in chat for you, GoBot. And I'll read it again here in just 1 second. Okay, so what it said was, where to find out more, I guess the still my best bet. He was, oh shit, there's more. Hold on. It's a, oh shit, it's all ciphers. How much more is there? Sorry, this is just fucking cool. This is just neat as hell. Alright, let me write down this cipher. Oh, one thing I wanted to say about how they did the magazine, because I thought it was kind of neat, is it's not the full magazine. You can tell that it's been taken out, because it's actually got, like, this is page number, 15, 16, 17, so, okay, let me write down these ciphers real quick. This is so neat. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. So, give me 1 second while I write it over. Oh man. I might need to wait till I can write this, until I can get a little bit more dark in here. Hard to tell. Talks about different places. I've done some stuff like that because I love puzzles. I've always loved riddles and puzzles and stuff like that. I don't think I've done anything this intense though. I used to watch a show called Ghost Rider that had a lot of stuff like that in it. I want to say that's an L. Oh, this is where it's overposed on the image. It's a little hard to see. Okay, I might have to wait until I can darken the room up a little bit. I'm just checking to see if there's anywhere else. Okay. I'm gonna wait until I darken up the room a little bit more. I loved Ghost Rider one. Let me look at the word again. No, that doesn't make... But I did love Ghost Rider. No, it could be. No, it couldn't be library. Like, I get where you're thinking library, but the numbers don't match. The letters don't match up. Like, this has to be... The H has to be... Oh, if it was by highlights. Highlights was the best thing as a kid. See, the apostrophe, that makes me think that the H must be an S. It has to be an S. You know what I mean? What else is there? But I'm trying to think about what other word it would be. And why did he write it in... Why did he write it in cipher? An S or a D, right? I mean... Now I'm gonna have to go look up Ghost Rider stuff, though, because I fucking love... It would be possessive. I would think... That's the only way it makes sense in the sentence, is an S. And I'm trying... I need to... I'll get back to... Remind me in a second to redo this one. I just need it to be a little bit darker, because I can't exactly see... Like, maybe if I put it on top of something white, I can see it a little bit better. It's a little hard to see it. Because of where it is. I think that's an L. Yeah, looking at, because it's got a couple more apostrophes in this one. I'll spell it out in a little bit when I can read it a little bit better. But it's got another apostrophe H and an apostrophe G. So, what is G then? Because looking at it, the G should be something that could stand by itself, and that's either A or I, isn't it? That doesn't make sense as an apostrophe. Okay, we'll look at that in 1 second. Let me finish with the diary, and then we'll go back to what's written on here. Let's just read through the diary real quick. What he taught me in case I forget. There's I don't know if that's supposed to help with the cipher in a second or what. Okay. Yesterday, Miss Tan gave me this notebook and said I should use it to write to Dad. And then she sat there with a stupid calm look on her face while I screamed at her about how dumb of an idea that was. I wish I hadn't done that. It wasn't right, and it wouldn't have made him proud. Dad, you were always so... And then he, like, scratches it out. Look how there's the little arrows there. I'm really lonely without you. I know how hard Mom is trying, and I know she misses you, too. Last night, Tristan couldn't remember that thing you used to say to us all the time, and he started crying. I pulled him out of it, though. Helped him remember by making it a puzzle, just like how you would have. I think Tristan was too young to hold on to all that code stuff you taught us. But I remember. It would be good for passing notes in class, if I had anyone to pass notes to. Dad, you used to tell me the coolest stories about the woods. Mom used to make fun of you for believing in all that stuff. I don't know if you actually believed it, though. I think you just knew how fun it was. Time passes more easily out here, not slow and boring and lonely like at home or in school. I think he's been in the woods. Dad, Mom just sent me to my room. How old does she think I am? She doesn't treat Tristan like this, and he's not even 10 yet. She said I upset Tristan, and then we all started fighting again. I don't know why I get like that. It's like everything annoys me. I don't know. The new kid didn't know anything about Burkettsville, so I took him by the forest and told him all about what happened. I showed him where the tree was and everything. For a second, I felt like I was going to throw up or cry or something, but then I saw how freaked out he was, and it all suddenly seemed hilarious. Then I started laughing and he ran away. So lame. And he told on me exactly what I needed. Apparently he told Miss Tan that he saw somebody watching us too. I said I didn't see anything. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that nobody else is willing to walk in the forest with me. At least Tank keeps me company. And you, in a way. Okay, there's a space here, so I'm gonna assume. Got to find out more about the forest. Mom can't know. She'll just do that deep, guilt-inducing sigh thing and send me to my room like she always does. There's a bunch of stuff in town that I can look into, but I think I know exactly where to start. I can't believe how much stuff there is to go through down there. All crammed into those shelves you built when you renovated the place. Heading back tonight. Everyone leaves me alone down here. I can do whatever I want, even if I don't want to do anything at all. Not a bad place to spend the weekend, especially if I stop 2 doors down to grab something to eat first, or if I can get Hank to make me a sandwich. Nobody else knows I come here. It's always just business as usual upstairs. Not that they've ever been busy. I take my time walking here through the woods and walking back. I finally figured out how to talk to him. He's an interesting person, if he's even a person at all. He knows things about you that he shouldn't have any way of knowing.
I'm sorry. Go but later on. If it keeps being weird, I'll anything you need me to go back over, I'll go back over in Discord. And it's okay. I mean, there's plenty of movies. Like, I actually have not seen the first Halloween movie ever. So it's pretty easy to miss things, especially, I don't know if it's your genre or not. I liked the first Blair Witch movie. I thought it was pretty good. How did you react to it, I guess, is the best way to ask. I liked it a lot. It helped that the first time, I thought it was really, I think the first one is really good. I'm really big into found footage too, so that helps a lot. The first one though, the interpersonal stuff was, yeah, really good. I think the only reason it spooked me was I saw it like a year after it came out, so I would have been about 15. And I saw it at like 1 a.m. with my mom and brother. And for some reason, it was more of what happened afterwards. So I went to bed that night. And so I went to bed. And I had my window open because it was like summer. And I always kept my window open during summer. And I heard laughing all night. And this is right after I saw that movie. So it like scared the shit out of me. And I found out like a couple weeks later that apparently our neighbors had a party that went out into the early hours of the morning. But I did not know that at the time. So it freaked me the fuck out. I have so many weird stories about stuff that happened to me after I watched horror movies.
it has happened more than once. Anyway, I'm gonna use this pen over. Because I bet he's used it. I wish he had used it right here. Oh, it must be on the other side. I thought I saw something. Might have to... Okay. Where's Andy's cafe? There's only inside the areas for... Give the players access to it. Ooh, the Ripper would... Even if they did like a faux Ripper, like where you could tell it was based off of Jack the Ripper, I think that would be really cool. That's hilarious. So I actually have I have 2 stories about The Ring. Funny enough, I have 2 stories. So the first time I saw it in the theater, I saw it with my at the time boyfriend and his best friend and her girlfriend. Or his girlfriend, sorry. And when we got out of the theater and got back into his car, I was in the backseat with my boyfriend, and I can't remember what, it's like we both like just moved at the same time, so I hit his shoulder and my nose started bleeding, and I was like, oh shit, my nose is bleeding, and the best friend was in the front seat like, ah ha ha, because we watched the movie, and me and my ex were like, no, it's seriously bleeding. So that was funny. And then when I read the book, because I actually really like the Ring series books, when I read the book, right after I got done with a chapter, because the chapter that was the description of the movie was all in one chapter, and right after I got done with that chapter, my phone rang, and I went to pick it up, and it was static, and I freaked out, and like I hung up, and I was like, fuck. And it rang back, and it was my friend. She was apparently at a payphone, because those were still a thing. She was at a payphone, and they had messed up the first call, but still, I mean, for that, just like, yeah, no, right, for that moment, it was like 7 days. I was like, oh my god, I freaked out. Oh, it was terrible. Oh my god. But yeah, so I have like weird stories attached to to watching movies. Okay, so I thought for a second there it might have been the apothecary, but I don't think it is, because the name doesn't make sense. Because I thought he meant he was 2 stories down from cafe, because otherwise it's the sheriff's office. Because it would be the sheriff's office or the auto shop. Is that what he meant by two stores down? Where do you say that? Come here, it's always just business as usual upstairs. Not that they're ever busy. I take, so yeah. Hold on. Are you already giving out Little Light, or am I just not holding one up? Feels like I should be seeing stuff, because he's got like all of these blank spaces. But there's nothing here? Or, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to draw the blinds a little bit. See how much light I can get out of this room. Because I think that's part of the problem. Because that paper is so significantly different. See, if I can get light out of this room, Jesus. Very lit room, which I appreciate during the day. Okay. See, even with all, like, I've got my blinds drawn, all of my lights are off, you can still see so well. I don't sleep in here, is why I don't need blackouts, but I might be able to see a little bit better. I can. yeah, I can. Okay, hold on. Give me just a second. Let me... Oh, let me use this. Alright, set you aside for a second. Yeah, it was because of the type of paper it is. So, I wish... You know what's funny is I actually do have a UV light, like a bigger one that I use. It's meant for nails, but I use it for UV resin. I just don't remember where it is right this second. Because it would help. It would help so much. I'm sorry you guys can't see this very well. But this is... Okay. Is it just backwards? It's backwards. Why are these like this? Oh, I'd love to have something like that. Maybe one day. But it looks like it's just backwards, so I'm gonna write that out for myself, because that'll make my life easier, because... You guys get to see my weird-ass handwriting. Are you serious? X. W. X. Y. Z. I fucked that up. I fucked it up! Okay. Z. Y. Sorry, my brain doesn't want to translate it backwards. That's why I need to write it down. Yeah, I was right. That H is S, though. Oh, yeah. Their vitamins are absorbing through the product. Oh, okay. I mean, technically, we make a vitamin D is made by sunlight, so that makes sense. That's really neat to know. If they just like bathe and they whatever sounds they make. Now, see the other thing. Okay, so it up here. Let's see if I can show this to you guys any. Oh no, it's not gonna come through. Yeah. Sun would feel really nice. So the very top part is where it has the backwards cipher, right? So it has, and then right here, what I want to know is why is this? So in the tic-tac-toe board, is your pin already dying? That's pretty pathetic. In the tic-tac-toe board, it has A, B, C, D, it has through I, and then it has, the thing about this is that it has dots. Like it doesn't have in this, it has in this, it has dots on certain areas. And then it puts an X. Yeah, I'm sorry these can't be seen. I'll find a way to... It's just weird how it does that. Okay. So, let me see first if I can read this one a little bit better in the dark. Oh yeah, that already looks... I'm gonna have to find a fucking UV light. Is a sun lamp the same as a UV light? I don't think it is. I have a sun lamp my mother gave me. Okay, I'm gonna try to write this. That looks like a G. That doesn't make sense. Unless it's one word. G. It's V. I think that's an I. V. F. H. O. U. If it doesn't make sense, I'll fix it in a second. Z. O. R. G. E. WLMG.
Would a sun lamp work with this, you think? I can go. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna see if it does. Yes, let us try and find out. I hope it works just so I can be like, hey mom, thanks for the sun lamp. It came from you so much stream. She'd be so proud. Actually, my mom pretty much supports all of my artistic endeavors, thankfully. She's pretty good about that. Because they know. Because they know I'm better off doing this stuff than trying to function at a job where I will lose my mind. Maybe if I was medicated. But yeah. No, she's really sweet. I love my mother. She's a good mom. Did her best. She did her best considering my dad and I are both bipolar. And sometimes we'd be in stereo about it. Whew. She didn't deserve that. She's a saint for putting up with the two of us. Okay. Alright guys, moment of truth. Oh, I guess I should. Oh god, that's bright. Oh, sad. It does not work. Okay. I need you guys to see this. It actually says sad lamp on it. Which actually makes sense. It's not trying to be a smartass. Those lamps are meant for seasonal affective disorder. So, perfect sense. Just really bad acronym. I'm gonna look for one more thing. Please near the top. I will be basement? Oh, I think I actually know what that means. Hold on, give me 1 second. hoping I could find my nail bar right off, but I could not. So I'm gonna try one more thing. Just because that little pitiful light looks like it is. Just not gonna give up the ghost. Okay, so nothing is where it should be. That's awesome. I will have to look for it later. We'll just have to hope that the pin works for as long as we need it to. Okay. Also, the basement, I'm pretty sure. Give me one second, I was running around a lot. He made it sound like... Hold on, let me find the one passage. Nobody else knows I come here. It's always just business as usual upstairs. Not that they're ever busy. I take my time walking here through the woods and walking back. So it's the basement of wherever he's spending his time. Why did I pull up the map? That's weird. Alright, I'm gonna go back to trying to write from the back of the, what's it called? Come on, don't give up the ghost yet. Writing this down as best as I can. I can't exactly see it very well. Your handwriting, my guy. He wrote over something, so it's really hard to tell what he was trying to write. They should have done this a little bit differently, or maybe it was a printing error. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you for stopping by. Have fun. Take care. Hope to catch you soon. Rules of
I'm actually going to rewrite my alphabet real quick. Because I squished it, and for some reason it's fucking with me how I squished it. Now I squished it, didn't squish it enough. Okay, it's fine, it's fine. They'll actually read it better. Sure to drink your Ovaltine. Wonder how many people that actually get that joke though. I actually named one of my channel point rewards after something from that, and I've had to explain it to a couple of people. Okay, let's do this again. The rules of... Eventually I'll get to the point where I might have wrote this down wrong. Reality, yeah. Rules of reality. I'm gonna assume don't. Okay, I couldn't catch that. Is it gonna say apply? Where's the Z? Rules of reality don't apply. The past. Okay, some of this I could not actually read right, so I'll try reading it again. Yeah, this can't be right. Hold on. Oh yes, hydrate. I actually have been pretty good about it. I have my my boxed water next to me. I really like this thing. It was kind of cheap to get. You can reuse it, and did I jingle a little bit? Try to jingle. I like that you can reuse it, and it's biodegradable. That's like a big thing for me. So, let me read this real quick. The word I didn't get. Never mind. Oh, I missed a whole. That's why. Hold on. I missed a whole line. Let me do this again. ESV AZHG RH ECR EV Burkittsville. I think I'm reading this one wrong. I'll wait till I can get the other word. X. I think this is an L, but A B is what it looks like, but I'll try it again. Okay, let's try this again. What does he distill it from, though, or does he get it from, like, rainwater? He doesn't distill it from his own you-know-what. But that's actually really cool. If I could get my own water, oh god, I would love that. I just would rather reuse water, you know, as much, well, not reuse, but tap water. Okay. Okay, cool. Alright. So the path is I'm wondering if this one is right. Yeah, that can't be right. Oh, I bet I know what it is. It's... I know this is to hope. Yes, the thing that makes the frogs gay. They put chemicals in the water, it makes the frogs gay. Okay, this was an O. And this was an E. So the past is alive. It's so hard to read. I think this one is crazy, though. Oh, MIG, okay. Okay, the rules of reality don't apply. The past is alive out there. It's not too crazy to hope. Welcome back. How was your jab? Painless? Good. As long as it was painless. Be mindful that you might get COVID arm tomorrow. Because I got it the day after. Worth it. Alright, so we have, I think the ones in the book were a little bit easier to read. So I don't think it'll be as bad. It's more of, I really wish I had a better light. What the fuck? R G H L F N W W F G R E L D H G R O O O F G E S. I'm gonna write them all down first, and then I'll go. I think that's the only one on this page.
Really gonna get hard when it gets to the one where it's like almost the entire page.
Okay.
Ooh, oh man, I really wish you guys could see this. In the little, there's, you know, you can see this drawing right here of him. I guess is supposed to be, that looks better. Him in the forest with Tank. I don't know if you can see it or not, but he's actually drawn in a tall figure right here.
That looks to be the only thing on this page. Oh wait, there's something right here. Okay,
I found something else.
Yeah, it's kind of neat though. Shows you that he's been out there and he's been, well, I mean, it says he's been in the forest, but he's also been somewhere else. I don't know why this is so faint. This is so hard to do.
I don't know how they were expecting you to do it with such a small pin light.
Were you supposed to do this with people? Was that the thing? SV.
Ugh, and the handwriting's really bad. Hold on, I gotta tie my hair back. It keeps getting in my face. This is why I was trying to find that that nail light that I have.
He also just does not have the best handwriting, and I hate it. Give me a second, I'm just still trying to... It's hurting my hand to do.
Don't even know if I'm reading this. Aw, that sounds good.
It's always good to have some icy creams. Is there, like, a way to read this better? Just...
Ugh, okay. I'm gonna give my eyes... Ooh, Magnum is pretty good.
Alright, let me give my eyes a quick break and translate one of these. Crazy. Sounds crazy, Dad. Okay. Oh.
I know what he's doing. He's trying to find his dad in the forest because the forest has the time loop shit in it. He found out about all the weird time stuff. I know it sounds crazy, Dad, but I hope you're still out there somewhere.
It's... Not just... Okay. That wasn't...
They are really good. I like the bars, I think they're called.
Let's try this one. Or just on this top one. Yep, I was.
Ugh.
Wish this was a little bit easier to do.
I mean, he's clearly headed out to the woods, right?
It's just not easy to read. Like, am I just not... Oh my, okay.
Let me see if I can make it a little bit darker, if that will help. How can I do this? Hey, I've got a box. Don't listen to everything falling around. try something real quick. See if it helps at all. Any. Oh god, it does not help at all to make it darker. I thought it would. Okay. Oh god. There's a whole bunch of pages with just the Blair Witch symbol on it. Okay. So I think he was headed to the woods. I'm going to just pull up the website. I'm going to do this later. I'm going to translate more of these and have it done by the next time we do this. I cannot see it at all. I can't see it enough to do the translation right. I'm going to pull up the website real quick and we'll look over that together. Sorry, I'm just moving my microphone back to where it normally is. Let me switch over to... I'm going to switch off this guy for a second. To this guy. Which, why are you so big? That doesn't even make sense. Okay. So let's look over the website real quick. For Find Liam Kent. Wednesday, 9:36 p.m. I just gathered Liam's possessions from his desk and sent them away along with reports from the sheriff's office. Up until about an hour ago, barely anything in that room had been touched for more than 4 months. Sheriff West Landing, in all his wisdom and authority, barely looked through it, and I've wanted to keep it just how Liam would remember it so that he can slot back into his life once he comes back. Like none of this ever happened at all. So it's been about 4 months. I knew it had been some time, but knowing that. Seeing that desk blank damn near broke my heart all over again. But it's all in service of the greater good. I finally found someone who can help me, and I'm sending them enough evidence to hopefully move this case forward. I'm planning on giving them access to this site too, so if you're reading this, hello detective, feel free to read through all my previous posts if you want to get a better idea of everything I've been through already. We've got a long path ahead of us, but I truly believe that by the end of this, you're going to have led me right into my son's arm. I'm actually going to try to read one thing real quick in the book. In the diary. Oh, God, I wish this was easier. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I wish this was a little bit easier to read. Because it's clearly got something to do with... I still think he's going to the apothecary. But that doesn't make sense either. It leaves me alone down here. I can do whatever I want, even if I don't want to do anything at all. Not a bad place to spend the weekend, especially if I stop 2 doors down to grab something to eat first, or if I can get Hank to make me a sandwich. There's stuff there is to go through down here, all crammed into those shelves you built when you renovated. What places did he renovate? Hold on. Give me that pen. This box didn't work. Built in the 1920s. That's the main clue. What was the history? Okay, the History Museum. It must be the History Museum. I get confused because he says 2 doors down. No, 2 doors down is Andy's Cafe. Okay. That was on me. I read it. I misremembered which one was Andy's Cafe. So yeah, it's the, he's been going to the History Museum.
into the basement of the History Museum. So he can get into the basement. Oh, no, they call it apothecary on the map. They call it the Violet Apothecary, but that's not, it is the History Museum. The apothecary, she must have, her ancestry must have run an apothecary. Originally the site of the area's first general store. Yeah, they just kept the name, even though it doesn't sell that kind of stuff right now. But it's actually the History Museum was what I was thinking of. So he's been in the basement of the History Museum. So that's probably where he went to. I think he went to the History Museum after all this, because that makes sense for the, for where she saw him outside of the post office and everything like that. Let's go ahead and finish reading the site real quick. Thursday, 11:24 p.m. Turns out that an empty inbox is almost as bad as an inbox full of nonsense. On the plus side, after many frustrating conversations, I finally convinced the sheriff's office to release some of their official documentation to me. Not that there's much, but it's more than I had yesterday, and it's important to keep that in mind. Getting HUD's bracelet back this way was a bittersweet experience, to say the least. Shame on each and every person who still, 3 months out, writes to me talking about witches and their minions and whatever else it is that you believe in. I drink the same water as each and every one of you, so I know that whatever it is that's making people so gullible and insensitive lately is personal and not environmental. I'll be password protecting this site until further notice. Crowdsourcing for clues is clearly working just as well as leaning on Sheriff Lanning did. Looks like I'll have to take another approach. Sometimes I'll think that Tristan is too young to understand much of what's been happening, but then he'll ask a question that breaks my heart. It's not like when HUD passed away. He was only 5 years old back then. I remember the day HUD put one of Tristan's first toys in that time capsule he kept out in the forest after Tristan lost interest in it. It looked like a baby bird in its own nest of newspaper clippings and high school love notes. I remember the day we scattered HUD's ashes around that very same stump. Seeing Tristan looked so lost. He's grown so much so fast since then. I wish that my parents were still around to see it, or that my sister lived on the same side of the country. We don't usually get what we wish for, though, do we? I think that time capsule is going to come back up. Made yet another visit to the sheriff's office. I was in the waiting room for almost half an hour before being told some empty platitudes about patience and shown the door. When Liam first went missing, there were search parties every day, then 3 times a week, then 2. I'd like to thank the handful of you who are still coming out with me and Tank every Sunday to spend all morning trekking through the woods. I'd also like to thank all of the folks who've been stopping by the diner just to drop a kind word and to tip too much on a cup of coffee and a slice of pie. It means a lot. His 16th birthday was still a ways off, but all I can think about is what I'm going to do for it if I still haven't found him by then. HUD's birthdays are already bad enough. Every time I look at a calendar, I feel like I'm staring at a graveyard. All those empty boxes lined up in a row. Spent this weekend driving through 5 counties, plastering missing flyers up at every post office, town hall, library, and busy intersection I could find. Anthony was good enough to watch Tristan and feed Tank. Checked on a few of the older flyers around town too, replaced the ones that were faded. To whomever left that very nice card out on my doorstep, thank you very much for thinking of me. I'd bring it up to you in person, but you forgot to sign it. I'd like to remind everyone that I set up the tip line as a place for concrete information. I understand that your condolences are well-intentioned, I really do, but they're very much premature. Liam's case is still open, and to the people who have been writing to me about, or even alluding to, the witch, grow up and get some manners. Even as a kid, I never understood why some people in this town were so committed to believing in such an obvious hoax. We might live in the middle of nowhere out here, but we all still live in the real world, and there's no more important time to remember than in a difficult period like this one. I heard a lot of things when my son Liam went missing 2 months ago. At first I was told that I was overreacting. Typical teenager behavior. He stayed out late. He'll be back in no time. Then I was told to trust the Burkettsville Sheriff's Office to bring my boy home. Now I'm being told that it's time to stop waiting by the phone all night, to get myself into counseling, and to resign myself to the fact that troubled teenagers run away all the time, that I may never get any real answers. Well, everyone in this town was wrong when they told me not to worry, and they were wrong when they told me not to trust the sheriff. It seems only natural then that they'd be wrong about it when it's time to give up. I've put enough trust in the hands of people who have proven themselves incompetent and uncommitted, and I'm not going to make the mistakes any longer. That's why I'm putting this page up. This page will serve as a way for me to keep track of everything that's going on surrounding Liam's disappearance. It will also be a way for me to communicate with anyone who might be able to help me. If you have any information as to Liam's whereabouts at all, please use the tip line on the site to contact me. My name is Rosemary Kent. I'm a resident of Burkettsville, Maryland, and I'm currently in the middle of a personal investigation to the disappearance of my son, Liam. If you have any information pertaining to his case, you can use this website to contact me directly. I'm usually very quick to respond to credible evidence. Okay, let's look at good fences. Kent family curse. Have you heard about what happened to the Kent boy? Poor Rosemary, it's a damn shame. First she loses her husband in that terrible accident, and now her son too. And didn't something just like this happen to her sister Jess right before she moved out west? Makes me wonder who will be next. You notice how it's been awfully foggy lately? You notice how it gets darker sooner than usual? You notice those weird marks and symbols about town? If you ask me, it's the witch. Certainly got me and my children in a fright. I'm keeping each of them close from now on. That's just an old wives' tales. If you ask me, it was that creepy historian. Probably just to reenact a killing from one of those dusty old books. It's always the quiet ones, mark my words. I agree with Diane. Witches? Ha! Have you asked the priest about the boy? He always gave me a bad feeling. You stop that. Father Hobart had been nothing but good to this community, and Anthony has supported me and my family when we needed it most, which is more than I can say for some people. You all know the woods are cursed, right? The witch lures folks into the woods. Karen might be onto something. If I were Rosemary, I'd take note. I'd say go find the boy now before something else does. There's something wicked about those woods. My cousin's roommate once spent a day there and came back with a bushel of grays in his bright red hair and a scar he didn't remember getting. He also swears that he walked at the crack of dawn, hiked for hours and hours, and that when he came out, the sun hadn't moved an inch in the sky. I hike in the Black Hills Forest every Sunday morning, and I've never seen any witch. I haven't seen anything weird or scary. I can't speak on whether it is a witch or not, but there is a pattern here that shouldn't be ignored. There's something out there that's been going on since before any of us were ever even born, and that's going to be out there long after we're gone. And that was from the historian. I'd appreciate it if you all kept your comments to yourselves. Believe it or not, you have no obligation to gossip, even you, Anthony. Anyone consider Liam just a runaway? He's a teenager. When he realizes he can't do much without his family, he'll be back. Why is it letting me zoom in? That's weird. Good Fences. I love the name of that. I assume it's just some sort of neighborhood website. Last seen wearing a black t-shirt, denim jacket, beanie, carrying a backpack. We have searched the area and found no sign of Liam as of yet. We are seeking additional volunteers in our efforts to search the Black Hills Forest and surrounding area. The Sheriff's Office requests that only those with experience in wilderness navigation and competence in basic survival skills volunteer to participate in these searches. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Liam Kent, please contact Burkittsville Sheriff West Landing. Okay, I'm going to read one last thing in the letter, but I honestly think he was going to the History Museum. That's the only thing that makes sense. Where is her letter? Over here? It's over here. I wanted to see what was on his desk. Okay, the bracelet wasn't on the desk. I misread that. She just got it back. Okay, so I still think. Oh, I'm gonna turn this off for just 1 second. Y'all don't need to see my email. That is. Oh, yeah. Okay. We double check something. Okay. You should see a link to my tip line. Just type the name of the place. Liam was headed there. I'll be sure to respond to you. in case it needs the... See how to fucking spell it. And then I'll spend some time... I'll find my, my nail bar and I will... read all of that stuff. I spelled Burkett wrong. Okay. Oh, come on. What else do you want me to say? Just type the name of the place. Okay, I think I typed too much. I always forget how to spell fucking museum. Alright, let's try this. Oh, okay. Hold on, let me pause the Spotify and put my headphones on. It is an awful word to spell.
Liam was hanging out in the basement of the History Museum. I mean...
We got it!
What could have been down there? I'm heading over to take a look right now. It's right down the street from the diner. Could Sheriff Lanning really have missed something so close to his office?
Weird. The building's unlocked, but he's not here. Maybe he's in the basement. The door's right behind his desk. I'm just going to check. It's not locked or anything. Anthony? Are you there?
Hold on, let me turn it up in case...
If you're down there, I'm coming down now. Jesus, why is it so cold down here? Okay, there is no way the sheriff searched this. There's way too much stuff crammed in here. I'm gonna be here all night. But I guess the cold air will keep me sharp. Wait. There's a window open back there. That must be where the draft is coming from.
And would lead back into the woods.
Who would leave this open? Wait. This is Liam's handwriting. Liam's been here. Oh my God. This is his pencil case, and there are all kinds of notes. Hold on. What are these? I'm not sure how to describe what I'm seeing to you, but Liam's notes are covered in all kinds of strange markings.
It's probably the Blair Witch symbol.
And this one is... Oh my God. This handwriting is... This is HUD's.
I was waiting for her to say
HUD
that.
wrote one of these notes. Years ago, it looks like. Before the accident.
How to get a hold of it then?
You need to see this. I'm going to try to find some more evidence, and then I'll send everything over to you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You've just gotten me closer to my son than I have been in months.
Awesome. That was the first book, or the first box. Because I assume that as I said, I'm gonna spend time reading the rest of it, trying to get the UV light to work on the rest of it. But for right now, we did it. We got the first box done. Nice. Okay. Neat. That was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that. So I'm gonna continue this. I'm gonna keep going on with this, guys. So in about a month, we'll do another one, and if we keep liking them, I'll get more boxes and we can do even more. I'll do more than the Blair Witch, because they've got like, I think they've got like 4 going on right now. If we ever get the extra money, I can, the previous boxes you have to buy all at once, so I won't be able to do those unless we get a lot of money. But yeah, that was great. Thank you guys for coming back after the technical difficulties earlier. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun to do, and I'm really looking forward to doing more with you guys. So, that's it for now. I'm looking forward to doing Silent Hill on Monday, so that will be awesome because we got that working together. Thank you, Frianchi, for getting that working for us. And that's it for today. Again, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me while we worked on the first Hunt a Killer box. I'll see you all later. You all take care. Have a good one. Bye.